Hello and welcome to the 2026 Funding Opportunities Information Session. We're excited that you're here joining us to listen in to this information about applying for funding from Community Foundation Boulder County. Today we will cover the 2026 grant cycles. We'll talk about 15 Forever, Community Trust in the One Lafayette Fund. We'll also share information about applying for equity funds. And then at the end, we'll cover details about our grant software and application details. I'm joined today by members of the programs team, and they will now introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Sarah Mickelson, Grants Manager, and my pronouns are she, her.
Hi, I'm Sydney Zarensky. I'm the program manager, and my pronouns are she, hers as well.
Great, thanks so much. And I'm Sarah Harrison, Vice President of Programs, and my pronouns are she, her. For the 2026 grants calendar, we have 15 Forever kicking us off for the year with applications opening March 16th. Those applications will close April 16th at 5 p.m. with grant announcements coming out in late May. For Community Trust, that application will open on April 1st of 2026 with the applications closing on May 1st at 5 p.m. Grant announcements for Community Trust will be made in mid-August. In closing out the year, we have an opportunity to apply for equity funds. Those applications will open on August 3rd, and the applications will close on September 3rd at 5 p.m. Equity funds grant announcements will be made in early November. For this year, for 2026, for our grant making, we wanted to highlight a few things for your information. So there have been no major changes to our grant cycles this year. As you may know from previous years, our grant making is trust-based. Applications are simplified and easy to submit. Application materials are available in Spanish. And final reporting for those that receive a grant is based on a number of different options. So you can answer some questions, you can submit a story that you might have written, or upload an annual report as some examples of how you can complete your final report.
For our first grant cycle of the year is our 15 Forever. This is a completely youth-led initiative, and the RFP is rotating depending on the focus area that is selected by the youth each year. So we encourage you to check our website closer to March 6th on the opening date to see what the focus areas are. If you want to learn more about this grant application, please go to the website and know that this application grant cycle will close April 16th at 5 p.m.
Okay, next up is Community Trust. Community Trust is a grant-making fund of Community Foundation Boulder County that addresses broad needs throughout the county in the following areas: animal care and welfare, arts and culture, civic engagement, education, environment, and health and human services. Boulder County community members review the grant applications and make funding recommendations. And then foundation staff facilitate the process and present the foundation leadership with the committee's grant recommendations. This is participatory grant making at its best. It's really grant making done by the community for the community. Community Trust applications will be open from April 1st through May 1st at 5 o'clock. And so applications for all areas will be accepted at that time. Applicants are invited to apply once to Community Trust, and all grant awards are for general operating support. We want our community partners to have the flexibility to use the funds however they see fit. So new in 2026, we're no longer asking for the requested amount on the application. So by submitting a grant application, applicants will be considered for a grant. We anticipate that grants will range between $3,000 to $9,000. So our community trust funding priorities. First, all eligible organizations and entities that serve Boulder County are invited to apply for funding. So here's the important part about that. Be sure to speak to how your activities do or will impact people in Boulder County in your application. We accept grant applications from applicants that are outside of the county, but the activities that you're applying for must benefit Boulder County. So each year, Community Trust has specific funding priorities, and those are listed in the RFP. This year's funding priorities are organizations committed to equitable outcomes for historically marginalized populations in Boulder County, and design and or delivery of programs are informed by historically marginalized community members and those with lived experience in Boulder County. So the application is going to have questions about those funding priorities. Volunteers will be looking for how applicants answer those questions and address the funding priorities when they review applications. So keep an eye out for those questions. So a word about application from school districts and universities. So this applies to community trust only. One application will be accepted from foundations associated with school districts and universities. And then one additional application from each school district or university will be moved forward. This applies, but is not limited to teachers, individual schools or departments, PTAs, clubs, programs or project leads, department leads, and professors. So if you're an applicant from the Boulder Valley School District, please submit your application through the Foundation grant software. And then one application will be selected to move forward for committee review. If you're an applicant from the St. Vrain Valley School District, please contact the St. Vrain Valley Schools Educational Foundation at admin@stvrainfoundation.org. They will select which application will be submitted. So your next step is to let them know that you're interested in applying. And if you are an applicant from within the University of Colorado Boulder, please contact Megan Allen, Assistant Director of Foundation Relations, at megan.allen@colorado.edu. They will select which application will be submitted. So your next step is to let them know you're interested in applying. So again, this applies to community trust only. So our One Lafayette Fund. This fund was created by the City of Lafayette in 2008 to support nonprofits providing social, cultural, health or wellness, youth, older adults, or educational services to people in Lafayette. And then in December 2024, grant making for the One Lafayette Fund transitioned to Community Foundation Boulder County. So Lafayette serving community partners who apply to Community Trust will be considered for funding from the One Lafayette Fund. So nothing further is needed there.
Lastly, our last grant cycle for the year is our equity funds. These are, unlike community trusts, very specifically driven for specific communities. First, we have our Bravo Fund, which promotes social justice, strengthens opportunities for leadership, and funds projects that support Latino communities within Boulder County. Second, we have our Open Door Fund, which is to support the LGBTQ plus individuals and allies within Boulder County to really build and cultivate a stronger community. And last, we have our Veterans Fund that support the needs of veterans and their families and transitioning service people throughout Boulder County to build community and foster education. Unlike Community Trust, it is a little different with the Bravo Fund. First, those applications will open August 3rd until September 3rd at 5 p.m. It is one centralized application for all three, but unlike Community Trust, you can self-select multiple of the equity funds. So say that you serve a large population of a Latino community, you can apply for Bravo Fund. And also say you serve a lot of vets, you are also eligible to apply for Veterans Fund. You will submit one application per fund. Please know that, again, all of this will go to general ops, or if you have a specific program that is geared towards LGBT community specifically support. Unlike community trusts, the minimum grant size will be $1,000. It will go through a similar process as community trusts, where we will have community volunteers review all the applications and use consensus-based decision making for all of the grant recommendations for equity funds.
Okay, so now I'm going to go over how to apply for our grant cycles, including navigating our website and grant software. So we have a main grant making page on our website at confound.org. To access that page, go to confound.org and then go to Our Work on the upper right-hand side and then click on grant making. Or you can replicate the link on this slide and go there directly. So that will take you to our main grant making page. You can bookmark it if you like. Each year, a grant cycle calendar is posted there. And then each grant cycle is listed in the grid, which you can see on the right. There's a description of each fund and then the application dates. The status column shows when grant cycles are upcoming, open, or closed. So for example, right now, Community Trust says the grant cycle is upcoming. And then on April 1st, that blue button will change to open, and then it will say closed when the grant cycle closes on May 1st. So when the application period is open, you will be able to click on apply. So from there, that will take you to the individual fund page. Here is a sample on the screen. Individual fund pages have information about the fund, the request for proposals document, and also a button that will take you to the grant software to apply. The fund page will list when applications are being accepted. You can see that at the top. And then the page also indicates when grants will be announced. And there's also a foundation contact email. So what you want to do is click on the View RFP button first to review the request for proposals, and then click on the Grant Portal button to apply. From here, you'll be logging into the grant software. And as I said, you can log into the grant software from the individual fund page or from the main grant making page. In addition, if you go to our main page on our website, you'll be able to click Grantee Login on the upper right-hand side, really of any page on our website, to access the grant software. And then there's also a grant software user guide on the main grant making page if you need it. If you're a returning applicant, we transitioned our software in 2023. So if you applied from 2023 forward, just enter your email address and password, then click sign in. If you've forgotten your password, click forgot password and follow the prompts. If you're a new applicant or you applied to our former grant software before 2023, you'll need to create an account. So you can click on the Create a New Account prompt on the login page. And then next, click on Organization. Please don't click on the individual button because you won't be able to access the grant application. So instead, click on Organization. From there, you'll follow prompts to search for your organization in our grant software or to add your organization's information if it's not already in our system. And a word about fiscally sponsored projects. We accept applications from projects or entities who have a fiscal sponsor. So here's what's important. When you create a new account, just be sure to search or register as a fiscally sponsored project, not as your fiscal sponsor. You'll be asked to enter details about your fiscal sponsor later in the application itself. So once you've done all of that, you'll come to a dashboard. To view any grant opportunities, click on Opportunities, and then select View for more details and to access the application. Once you're there, you're going to see a due date and also a description about the grant opportunity. There is also a link to the RFP on this page. Be sure to review the RFP before you start your application. And then to start an application, click Apply. And then you also have the option to print a blank application if you'd like to review it first. So at any time when you're working on an application, you can save it. To do so, scroll down to the bottom and then click Save Draft. To go to the next page in the application, click Next. And then to return to a draft saved application, at any time, go to your dashboard and click In Progress. And then you'll be able to view it if you click on View to the left. The last step is submitting an application. So when you're ready to do so, just scroll to the bottom and click Submit. After that, you'll receive an auto reply confirming that your application has been submitted. And at any time, you can access your submitted application by clicking Submitted on your dashboard. And then you can click View to see the application, or you can download it as well. So the submitted page is going to show the status of your grant applications. So that really covers everything for today. Thank you so much for your interest in our grant cycles this year. We are grateful for the work that you do every day to improve the lives of people in Boulder County. And really, we're just glad to be walking alongside your efforts. So again, we're the programs team here at the foundation. There's Sarah Harrison, Vice President of Programs, Sydney Zarensky, our Programs Manager, and myself, the Grants Manager. So we are here to support your work. Feel free to contact us with any questions. You can send an email to programs@confound.org. Thank you so much.